What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Like always, like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Always enjoy talking to anyone who comments and stuff. Today, we're talking about the new Star Trek book, original series, Identity Theft by Greg Cox. I actually just finished it. I had to get the review done because this book was amazing. Solid 9 out of a 10, 9 out of 10, probably a 10 out of 10. I don't know. I'm in between. But the book was amazing. From good, it's not so much of an action. There's action, but not like spaceship against spaceship type stuff. This one was more of exactly what the title is. You follow Pavel Chekhov. He's basically your main character in this one, and basically he gets caught as a prisoner by these like deer people called the Voisers, and they do this thing called like a life transference or mind transference. So they switch his mind with a young buck, a young Voiser, and so the plot of the book is this Voiser is trying to basically assassinate a major diplomatic person on another planet. But the premise of the book was amazing because you're following Chekhov, who's stuck in this this deer dude's head, and going through trying to escape this planet to get to the Enterprise to warn them that the Chekhov on the Enterprise isn't Chekhov. It's this deer, this Voiser person, and it's crazy going through the motions with them as they're living these the lives that basically it's not their life, but they're having to go through these motions to try to get to where they're going. The Chekhov imposter on one end is trying to get to the planet to assassinate who he needs to, and the Voiser imposter, which is actually Chekhov on the other end, is trying to get to the Enterprise to warn them. And there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens. The Voiser who is in Chekhov's body actually starts to realize how much the crew of the Enterprise is. They're all great people, and he understands why the camaraderie in them is so much. And he starts to really, like kind of he wants to be a part of that, and it really starts to bother him leading up to, because the Enterprise is heading to Voyager to, basically pieces coming together to between the Federation and the planet Voyager, and there's a lot of the Voyager people that don't want that to happen, and that's why this Chekhov imposter is going to assassinate them. So you get to go through all his emotions as he's trying to figure out is he doing what is right or what is wrong, and he's learning. He's really enjoying Captain Kirk and his crew, and he's starting to realize maybe he's not right. And then you have Chekhov, who's in the deer thing's body, and he's like trying to navigate through a couple of different planets trying to get to the Enterprise, and he actually meets the body he's in, the ex-girlfriend who helps him big time escaping to make it to the Enterprise. But so that's a pretty unique relationship going on, because Chekhov's in this deer guy's head. That's it, it's Chekhov, but he's in the body of this deer creature. So spoiler alert, there is some furry sex in the book, but thankfully Greg Cox is an amazing author. My first by him. He didn't go into detail, you just know it happens. And it's actually pretty funny. Spoiler alert number 2. The only 2 spoilers, if you could count them, is that right at the last like 2 pages of the book, the real their minds come back to, or they're back in their regular bodies, and Chekhov's talking to the doe Dees, and it's almost like he's gonna miss her because that little relationship they had on a cruiser real quick. And I was like, that's just disgusting. But whatever, it was funny nonetheless. But Greg Cox did an amazing job. I'm definitely going to try to fit in some of his other books as I'm reading. Like I've been telling y'all, every time I do a Star Trek video, I'm following a list, but I'm also reading, random books outside the list because there's so many Star Trek books. But keeping this review quick. One thing I want to say is, let's get the Yar fights. There's a good segment of the book where the Enterprise goes and saves there's an SOS on a like a just a moon that's basically like a crazy planet with like huge volcanoes and stuff. And the Enterprise go, this is why the Chekhov imposter is aboard still. and they go to save these treasure hunters. They're three little like dog people, like they're called Yarfights. Sir Grey Cox, let's get a whole book about those treasure hunters, like a side story. I know it could be done. Maybe I'm the only one on the planet who's read this book and thinks we should get a side story. But the book does leave it open for a continuation of uh, not the same kind of plot, but basically, right at the end, you meet a couple of up and up people that kind of want to get a hold of the technology that caused the mind swap to begin with. So, like I said, overall, the book's a 9 out of 10. Um, it's pretty close to perfect. Just a few of the things I was like, that's just weird. But that's just me personally. For most people, it's probably going to be a 10 out of 10. This was an amazing piece of work. I enjoyed it thoroughly. We'll put spoilers in the title because I know I let out a couple of spoilers, even though to me, I don't think they're really spoilers. You can see the title of the book and read the summary on the back, and you know immediately what's going to happen. You don't know the opposite character of Chekhov yet. So that's just what I think. But it was pretty. Some of it was pretty predictable too. Maybe that's why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. But it was predictable in all the right ways. It was really good. So overall, a superb Star Trek story. And the deer people were red. So does this count as Christmas? Green cover, red. The red Starfleet uniforms, and the Voisers were red fur with green beards and stuff. Felt pretty Christmassy to me. Maybe I'll read it every. Maybe I'll talk about it every year during December, but probably not. But Star Trek, the original series, an original series novel, Identity Theft by Grey Cox. I highly recommend it. It's brand new. I think it just dropped on December 2nd. I actually got FOMO with this one. I ordered it and I read it right away as soon as I finished the book I was reading before this, and I'm going to upload the review right away like a maniac. So, well, my wife is. But that's the video today, guys. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Later.